Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It's been 2 weeks since you last saw us. We took the Memorial Day weekend off.
Yeah,
Lee, it's been a while. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, bud. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad.
How was your Memorial Day?
Oh, a lot of drinking. Not much else.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
A lot of baseball watching. The
Yeah.
Pirates been up and down lately. Their last 10 games are 4-6. Right now they're 9 games out of the division. The Brewers are on fire at the moment, and
Yeah.
they are, but they're only a half game out of the wild card at 27-32. They're still only a
Wow.
half game out, which is surprising the way everything's going. The three top guys in the rotation, we talked about them last week. Jared Jones stumbled a little bit in one of his starts, but Mitch Keller is on fire right now. He's
Yeah.
5-0 in his last 5 starts, all through May, and 7-3 overall. He's had a great start. Paul Skeens has been everything that you could ask for, and
Yeah.
can't really complain about anything there. 1.5 games out of this wild card. There's 4 teams ahead of them to get into that spot, but I mean, they're still in the race. They need to make some moves if they want to do something this year. I think they're going to get some more offense. There's a
Yeah.
lot of holes in that lineup still. I'm hoping for the best then with the Pirates.
Yeah. Hopefully we can, see them get on a little bit of a run, maybe get a good, couple series wins where they sweep some of the next couple teams that they play. I know me and you did go to one of the games against the who was it? The Giants, and it wasn't the best of the games, but you
No.
know, but I think later on in that series they end up doing pretty good. But yeah, hopefully they can get on a little bit of a run. Like you said, the big three that we talked about, the pitching, they've been pretty spot on for most of the season. Like you said, Paul Skeens has just been incredible to watch, and just seeing him come in, and start for us has just been unbelievable. I'm waiting till, he gets to the point where he can start throwing a full game and maybe he can complete a game, see how he does. And I think that, if this team can get on a little bit of if they can get it together, get their act together, get on a little bit of a run, I think they could go pretty far and be the team that we talked about at the beginning of the season. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but, excited to see how they've been doing so far.
Yeah, they got 3 against the Dodgers coming up starting Tuesday, and then 3 against the Twins. Tuesday night will be a good matchup between Jared Jones and Tyler Glasnow. And then the Dodgers got one of the best rosters in the league by far. Pretty much them and the Braves, and the Braves aren't playing too great at the moment. Those are the 2 teams really that you're going to be looking at in the NL and the Braves aren't doing that bad. The Braves are 33-24, but the Phillies are just playing so well. They're at 41-18, 7 games in front of the Braves.
Yeah.
And then the Twins, I think they're playing pretty well. I can check real quick to see how they're doing. 33-26. So yeah, they've had a good start of the season. So this is a tough week. It's at home though, so hopefully you can at least go 3-3 here.
Yeah.
Get a 4-2. Let's do something there. That's how I'm looking forward to the Buccos. The Steelers, on the other hand, they've been going ahead with their OTAs. They're in the middle of that. They've made some moves in the month of May. We can just run through some of those moves real fast. We really haven't talked about many of the transactions. Going back to like May 10th, they actually signed receiver Scotty Miller. I call him a veteran at this point. He's never really had a long stretch of success in the league, but he's been around for a while now. Tampa Bay, I think most famously, I would say.
Yeah.
And they signed a couple of their draft picks, including Logan Lee, Mason McCormick, Roman Wilson, Ryan Watts, and Peyton Wilson. They're all signed up. And then they made some free agent signings. They got defensive back Anthony Averett on a 1-year deal, running back Jonathan Ward, running back LaMichael Pirine, and tight end Isaiah Gathings. So this is just some moves they're making. They're in the middle of their offseason, just filling up a roster. Maybe we'll see some of these guys in the preseason. giving them a shot to maybe make a roster. I know we have these new kickoff roles coming into place, and maybe some of these guys will have roles there, something like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see whatever else the Steelers may be doing the rest of this offseason. Again, we've talked about this already, and they've made some moves. They're actually trying to prove that they're the team that needs to be beat in the AFC North right now, with some of the signings they've done and the draft picks they've done and a lot of the free agencies they picked up. I think that the GM Con the Don, he's been really doing his thing and showing out and letting the city and the fans know that, hey, this isn't a joke. We really want to start winning and we want to win now. And I think it's going to be an interesting season. Again, we talked about it a couple weeks ago with the schedule. Definitely going to be tough that second half. I think if they can get off to a good start in the beginning of the season, like we talked about, and maybe find their groove, maybe they could pull off, at least a winning season. But it is going to be tough for them. But I'm excited to see any other moves that they may make and to kind of see how the rest of OTAs are going to go up until preseason coming in August.
Yeah, they've been making moves, but there's still a hole in this roster that I see, and I'm concerned about it, is the receiving core. They have to make a move there. You got George Pickens, and then you're looking at a bunch of guys that you can throw 1,000 names at the wall, but there's no one here proven. Van Jefferson, is he your number 2 right now? I don't like that. Then you got Scotty Miller. They just signed Quez Watkins, Marcus Callaway, Denzel Mims, Roman Wilson, the rookie. At this point, you're looking at Roman Wilson. You're thinking he's going to have to play some big time reps for this team, and hopefully he can do that, because they need to make a move there. There's just too much going on, and the free agent pool it's shrinking. So
it's Calvin Austin. He's still on the team, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Calvin Austin's another name. I forgot to throw him in there too. Yeah, but hopefully he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. That is probably the biggest hole. They filled up what we talked about, what we said that they needed for the draft, but they still haven't gotten that big receiver, like you said, a number 2 or a number 1 on the other side of George Pickens. Hopefully, still it's just now beginning of June. They still have a few more months. Hopefully, maybe there's something up Omar Khan's sleeve that he has still left to play. So we'll see what happens in the coming months before the preseason starts.
Yeah, I hope for the best. But it's starting to get late into the offseason, I think. We're in OTAs already. We're in the middle of OTAs. We've got some mini camps coming up, and then before you know it, it's going to be August and training camps going to start. So if you're going to make a trade, I guess you got a little bit more time, because you can get a receiver. You can get a guy into preseason and give him some games there, and he should be able to put him into the into some packages slowly, make them into the offense. It's not that big of a deal if it's going to be a trade, but free agency wise, there's not many names left, I'd say.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And I guess the one big topic I wanted to get to this week was related to the fact that there's a new leader in batting average in Major League Baseball history. Josh Gibson has been integrated. His stats have been integrated into the record books, along with every other Negro League ball player that has who spent their times in what I think it's starting in like 19. I don't know what it's.
I think it was like 1929.
Yeah, 1929 to 19. Yeah, so that's a good stretch. I'll let you go. What are your thoughts on them integrating the Negro Leagues into the record books?
Yeah, I think this is amazing what they're doing. It's a long time coming. Back in the day, of course, there was segregation going on, and the Negro League was started, on their own. Now, they didn't have, the funding and the publicity and everything else that they had, that the regular MLB had, but they did have something going on. And the fact that here we are, me and you talking Pittsburgh sports, and we have a guy, that played for the Homestead Grays, not that far here from downtown Pittsburgh, now the leader of some of
Pittsburgh
the
Crawfords too.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Crawfords too. Right. Yeah. And now the leader for some of the stats in the MLB records. I think it's just amazing. Again, I think it's a long time coming, but I think it's something to congratulate and to thank for the MLB to actually go forth and do this. And I don't know too much about a lot of any other segregated sports back in the day. Maybe if there are any other things that may have happened back around that time, maybe some of the other leagues can take a look at what the MLB has done and maybe incorporate some of these other stuff into the history books as well. I know that reading some of the stuff that you did send for research wise, that they're only like 75% done with some of the stuff, so they're still reviewing a lot more of the scorecards, records, and things like that. But I think this is just an amazing feat that the MLB has done, and integrating these records into their record books and getting to see getting recognition for some of these players. I think what they showed was about over 2,300 of these players now into the record book. So I think it's amazing to kind of see what they have done and what's gonna come forth in the future with this.
Yeah, so Josh Gibson's career average of 372 now ranks first. He passed up Ty Cobb, who had a 366 average. Josh Gibson took over the slugging percentage. He's at .718, moving ahead of Babe Ruth, who was a .69. Once again, Gibson passes Babe Ruth in on base plus slugging percentage, OPS, going 1.177 compared to Babe's 1.166. So he, on top of that, here there is a little controversy going with the little pushback on some of these record books coming into play. One of the things that I even understand the pushback here is the single season records for like batting average.
Yeah.
Gibson's now got the record for that at a 466 average for the entire season. He had that with the Homestead Grays in 1943, which is now considered the best in MLB history. The thing that some have pointed out is they only played about 60 games in the Negro Leagues compared to baseball. I think at that time is probably close to 140. I could be wrong, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, by 143. I know famously Roger Maris getting 61 home runs there's a lot of there's an asterisk put on that because he had a few more games in his season compared to the Babe Ruth's record beforehand. So I'm sure there have been players that have had 60 game stretches where they had a higher average than that 466 average. So it is an interesting conversation. Do you have any thoughts on that, and what you think that should be taken into account? Maybe there should be asterisks, or maybe there's going to have to be changes to like what's considered the modern baseball history or anything like that?
Yeah, I kind of say yes and no, and only because I can understand where the controversy comes with this type of record. Yes, they only played 60 games, but again, they didn't have the structure that the MLB had back then with their leagues, and I don't think they had the type of commissioner or funding and things like that to get more games. They didn't have as many leagues, or I'm sorry, I guess teams and things like that the MLB did have. And I don't think that they had enough to maybe make it more than 60 games to be close to the MLB. Now, I mean, you could probably put an asterisk there, but I did, doing some research myself, there have been some seasons that the MLB did have in the past due to other conflicts and things like that, where I think the minimum they did have some 60 game seasons. So
2020, just during COVID, they played 60 games that year, and all of those stats are in the record books. There's all those averages are no one got close really to the records, obviously, but no one's getting close to them anymore in general. But yeah, all those stats are accounted for. So it's a very good point. I think it's a good counter to anyone that's complaining about that's the 60 games.
Yeah, for sure. So, I think that, again, you could make an argument, like you said, for an asterisk. But again, I think that, you got to look at the time and, how things were going back then and, the way things are and how they've changed today. I think maybe give it, some leeway here, in today's record books.
Some people were trying to like argue that the competition level there wasn't as high as in the MLB and blaming all that stuff. But if you want to complain about that, the white guys weren't playing against these guys and the league talent in the Negro League either. So
Yeah,
neither side had the top crop of players that could have been available. So
exactly.
I think that's another argument that I don't think has too much that you can really put into play, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. You're exactly
Uh-huh.
right. Yeah.
And then moving past that, this just brings up like the looking at all these records and all these stats and not even going from Negro League. I'm looking at just like the Major League. All these averages are so much higher in the past than
Yeah.
they are today. And I just was curious of like even going do you once it's integrated, do you start calling that the modern league whenever I don't because you couldn't do just Jackie's when Jackie comes in because Jackie comes in and then there's still time before there's multiple
Yeah.
like so maybe maybe it's when the Negro Leagues stop existing, you go to that and you create a modern record book for everyone that's combined. And now that you have everyone together, you still keep the other records. Obviously, those aren't going anywhere. But like Cy Young is a pitcher who has over 500 career wins.
Yeah.
That no one's ever going to touch that stat again.
No.
And it's like it's almost at the point where it's the 300 is like always been a number that you look to as like, oh, this guy's had an amazing Hall of Fame career because he got to 300 wins. But there's not going to be many players that get to 300 even. So the idea of having a record book where the record right now stands at 525, something like that, wins. It's like almost a different sport than what they're playing today, I think.
Yeah, and I think so, and I think I think it maybe it should be like a modern, like right after like their league ended in 1948. Maybe you could have like a separate thing from then on as the modern day record book. I mean, yeah. In today's game, of course, everything has changed, and now, of course, they have, the pitch count, and now they have instant, replay and things like that, and a lot of this stuff that wasn't going on back then. And the game has changed, of course, and athletes have changed. Nutrition and health and fitness and things like that have changed, and a lot of people aren't taking the game as seriously, I think, as they did back then as they are today. And I think that a lot of people, they get the money, and it's like, okay, well, now I have the money and I'm already playing. What else do I really have to prove? When it is a competitive sport. I think you should go out there and actually try to break these records. I mean, I think that's the goal. I mean, I think, yeah, you want to go out there and play and have fun, but I think if you're a professional, I think you want to say, hey, I'm looking at a Cy Young, or I'm looking at a Josh Gibson, or I'm looking at a Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron or whatever, and like, hey, I would love to try to get my name up to close to their names, and I think that's what you should try to do. But yeah, I mean, I think the game has changed, and I don't think that it is how it was back then, how it is today, for sure. So yeah, maybe they could have a separate record book right after 1948 or so, for the leagues.
Honestly, you started as you were going on, you started to convince me the other way. Just bringing up, yeah, I mean, you're right about like, yeah, you want to look to those guys and what they did, and always keep what they did into the lexicon of baseball talk. And if you do integrate, or if you do create a new modern baseball that starts in 1948 or whatever year we pick, it could lead to people forgetting about those
Yeah,
players. So
yeah,
that is a good point too. That I think is an argument against making any kind of change to what you consider the record books
yeah,
for
yeah,
MLB. So
yeah.
but I think it's an interesting conversation. I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad they made this move. I think it was even in 2020 when they officially made the Negro Leagues considered a major league. Made them major leagues, and now if they're major leagues, they should be in the record books, and now they are. So I think it's a good move and a positive positive sign of fuck it. That doesn't mean anything. I'm gonna cut that out. I don't know where to go.
Let me ask you, do you think that, now that they've recognized and added this stuff, do you think maybe they'll have like maybe a Negro League week or a day or something where maybe they wear some of the older, jerseys, or recognize some of the other older teams, from the cities that, some of these leagues were in, maybe have a game or a week like that where they recognize it? You think maybe that's the next thing?
The Pirates wear the Pittsburgh Crawfords and the Homestead gray uniforms at least a couple times a year, I'd say. At least they did in the past. I haven't been tracking to know if it's an every year thing now or not. But I know I remember being a little kid knowing and hearing about the Homestead Reds and the Pittsburgh Crawfords.
Yeah.
I think the Pirates have done a good job of making sure that those names, like I knew who Josh Gibson was. I knew Satchel Paige. These are names that you hear a lot as a Pirate fan. They do a good job. There's statues around the stadium, little like things to remember them at PNC Park if you look around. So I think the Pirates have done a good job of that. I don't know what every other team has done, but I assume they have done some stuff too. Obviously, there's a Jackie Robinson Day that happens every year. That exists. I don't remember for sure. I can look it up. I would have to guess there is a week that is remember maybe in a month in the league for them, but I know for a fact the Pirates wear Crawfords and Homestead Gray uniforms a lot, and I would hope every team that has a chance does the same.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I got one final topic for you, Lee. It's a little more fun, I would say. But let's get it right into that. I'm gonna go and pull up some video for us here. So we're back here again. Last week there was a big boxing match going down. I don't know if you heard about it, Lee. Did you get to see who had a boxing fight?
No, I didn't even know this happened. So I'm excited to get into this.
So yeah, Le'Veon Bell had a fight this week, about 2 weeks ago now, maybe a little less than 2 weeks. But anyway, here's a video of him walking out. Look who.
Antonio Brown. Oh God, here we go.
Is he gonna rap? Something's going on. He's got a microphone, Tom. The former Steelers teammates. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Oh wow.
Le'Veon Bell, the former All-Pro, was known for just running right over defenders, and he promises to do the same thing tonight against a very stubborn Tristan Ham. According to our fan zone poll on the DAZN app, 3/4 of you think the former NFL star is going to do what needs to be done.
That's the logical thought process. There's no reason why Le'Veon Bell should lose this fight. He is the favorite.
So there you go. Le'Veon Bell had a boxing match. Your boy Antonio Brown came out with him. He was rapping. I couldn't hear the rap. Maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. Who knows? But what are your thoughts on AB and Le'Veon getting back together?
2/3 of the Pittsburgh Steelers right there, out there on the boxing match. Oh my goodness. Listen, Ben Roethlisberger. Wow, to have to see them two together. I didn't even know they were still friends, to be honest. And there's been all this controversy with Antonio Brown going bankrupt or something, and I'm surprised he was even there. So this is hilarious. These two it's just comical. It's comical.
Le'Veon did get the win. We should report that he did get the win.
Congrats.
But I figured I'd have some fun and ask you to give me 3 names. I haven't thought about it yet. I kept it out of my mind. 3 guys 3 former Steelers you would want to walk out with you if you were going to the ring.
If I had to pick 3 former Steelers to walk out with me.
Yep.
First one would be Hines Ward.
Okay.
I think my second would be Troy Polamalu. And I think my third would have to be James Harrison.
Yeah, see, I was going a little different than you. The Harris one fits, but I was thinking just like you want to get like some kind of hype man. So I was thinking Joey Porter.
Okay.
The guy I was going to throw out there for sure. He's always been a guy that brings it out. And then, I was good. You got to go James Harrison right there too. And then, honestly, I was thinking Troy too. But since you went Troy, I don't want to go the same way as you. Let me try to think through it a little bit. I mean, if you're going with Steelers today, I guess the name would be TJ Watt, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go TJ. Let's go TJ as my third guy. So I'll go TJ, James Harrison, Joey Porter, 3 pass rushers. Maybe the top 3 pass rushers they've had over the last 25 years or so.
Yeah, for sure.
But those are my 3 guys there.
Yeah. Wow. To see them 2 together, that's hilarious. Out there for a boxing match. Wow.
The Killer Bees.
The Killer Bees. Oh.
Honestly, it's sad to just look back and know that they never got the rings with the Steelers. Brown got a ring later on with the Tampa Bay.
All of them together. They were so talented.
That offense was awesome, but they just couldn't put it all together. They couldn't win the games. Playoff records. I mean, and going back to what we were going through during the season, I mean, it might be another indictment on Tomlin and what he wasn't able to accomplish with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully whatever they're doing right here outside of football, Le'Veon Bell, if he's going through the boxing route now, hopefully, he does well with it. And I don't know what AB's doing. He's got to figure something out. Yeah, whatever he's doing, he's doing his thing, whatever, I guess. I don't know. We still haven't seen much of CT ESPN. Hopefully he's back out there reporting some stuff for us. So wait to see.
I hope so. Yeah, Le'Veon's got a couple wins at least now. He also took out Adrian Peterson. I don't know if you
I remember that.
Yeah, so I guess he's having a good career, second career as a boxer, I guess. But with Le'Veon, it was just a money thing. I think he never really talked bad about the city or anything, and I think he enjoyed his time in Pittsburgh. Even Antonio Brown now, I think he learned his lesson with leaving Pittsburgh too, and he's back to liking Ben a little more than he did before. And he's on Tom Brady, but who knows? It could change back in any day with him.
You never know with him. Yeah, you never know with him.
But I mean, who? I don't even know where I'm going with this. Who do you think which Steeler should go and make a boxing career when they finish up next? Who you thinking should go there next?
I'd have to stick with like James Harrison. I think maybe he would be just perfect. He'd be like a Mike Tyson out there. I think it'd be great to see him out there.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in an MMA fight. It'd be fun to see him there. He got that Derek Lewis to him.
Yeah,
a little bit, and then I don't have a name for you. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit. But I mean, at this point, I think we're all good. It was a good week, good week off. Yeah. We're back into the fucking saddle. You need to get a better lighting in that room you're in there, I think.
Yeah, next time I'll have better lighting for sure. Real quick before we end, we got the NBA Finals.
Oh yeah! Wow! Yeah.
Mavericks versus the Celtics. The Celtics swept the Pacers 4-0 and Mavs won 4-1 against the Timberwolves. So now we have the finals getting ready to start. I think tomorrow. I think they start
June 6th. They start. So
June 6th.
They'll start on Thursday.
Do you have any predictions? Any early predictions?
I'm going Celtics in 6. A lot of people I've heard Celtics sweep, but I mean, you got to give Kyrie, Luka a couple games. I think they're gonna come out, and I'm not lost to the idea if they can have separate huge games where they get a 40 piece. You never know what can happen. They can win the series, I think.
Yeah, I also have Boston in 6. I think what they've done this season and through this postseason, they've just been the best team in the playoffs in the season this year. I think that it's going to be a great matchup to see. I'm with you. I think that the Mavs will get a couple wins, but I think that the Celtics will pull it off in 6 as well.
Yeah, you're completely right. The Celtics have been the best team from the start to the finish. They've been consistent.
Yeah.
You got to give credit to Joe Mazzulla's work as a coach. You got to give credit to Brad Stevens' roster construction. They've just done a great job, and that team is deep and got solid pieces at the top too.
Yeah.
So, Celtics in 6. It looks like we're good.
Yeah.
But we'll do this again. I think we're ready. Good. We're signing off. I'll see you. Yep. Have a good week. Talk to you next week.
Yep. Have a good one, bud.